On the technical studio, we have Vaishali Parekh joining us as well. From the research team today, we have Harsh as well as Lisa joining with us. A very good afternoon to all three of y'all, and surely y'all are indicating that green coming in on the screens, that at least at the beginning of the day there was a green,
at
right?
least, I think this is what our sentiment is. We are done seeing markets being very flip-flop and volatile. We want a one color that the markets to stick to, and that should be green. I think we are all going ahead with that.
Supporting the green. But let's get started, and let me start with the first stock then. And TCS is the stock that we are going to be talking about, obviously, because why? We have seen that Rajesh Gopinathan, who is the current CEO and MD of the company, has given his resignation. He will be resigning on 15th of September 2023. And for post that, we will be seeing K. Kritivasan is going to be taking over as the next CEO of the company. So as the CEO, he will be taking over from March. So keep an eye out on that as well. 16th March is the date that he's taking over as the CEO designate of the company. Moving on, he is going to be succeeding Rajesh Gopinath, who is currently the MD and CEO of the company. On the back of that, we've seen a volatile move coming in TCS. It opened up a bit in the red, but surely has recovered from the day's lowest point and up as of now 0.8%.
Absolutely, a stellar recovery coming in for TCS from the day's lowest point, now trading higher by about 0.8%. And remember, this is the first time that a CEO at TCS has handed his resignation. So this is the first time that has happened. So TCS is definitely the stock of the day. But let's move on and let's talk about Lemon Tree Hotels, and why is this one buzzing in a trading session. Last time I checked, the stock was trading higher by about 3.5%. That was most since March 14. Right now, cool off a tad bit from the day's highest point. The company has signed an agreement for a 60-room property in Sri Ganganagar, Rajasthan, and the company's unit in the hotel management arm will be operating the property that is expected to be operational by July 2026. So on back of that, you have Lemon Tree that is seeing a good up move in today's trading session.
Okay, let's move on and talk about Bajaj Finance on the charts. Vaishali, firstly, a very good afternoon to you. And how are you looking at Bajaj Finance now? Obviously, we have seen a bit of a consolidation correction coming in for Bajaj Finance in the last year. Is it the right time to look at this stock, and could we expect a turnaround now?
Very good afternoon to all of you. So yes, Bajaj Finance, actually I'm tracking this stock, and I see that, this would be a good opportunity to get into the trade, because I think 5650 was a previous bottom, and I would say it could be a double bottom formation. So the risk reward ratio over here also looks very favorable and very close to the support. So I would say one must buy this for a target of 6200 as a near-term trading strategy.
All right, moving on. That is the take coming in on Bajaj Finance. But Harsh, Rail Vikas Nigam, another order win for this one?
Well, yes, absolutely, Cheryl. 111 crore order win for RVNL. And those orders continue to chug through. You can see the stock as well up 1.5% in trade. And let's put this into context. So the order may be small, but when I'm looking at it over the last month or so, the company has won orders worth 450 crore, and on a top line of 21,000 crore odd trailing 12 months, that's not too bad at all. So definitely a positive. And as the orders keep chugging along, the stock price also keeps chugging along. So at the moment, up 1.5% as we speak.
Let's move on and talk about Jubilant Pharmova. And Lisa, why is this one in focus? What's the news flow here today? We saw a sharp spike coming in the stock today.
Yes, it's up like almost 10%, and the reason being that its subsidiary Jubilant Hollister Stir, they received additional loan facility from the Government of Canada, and this is for the expansion of its CMO Montreal facility. Well, it's a partially repayable loan of Canadian dollar of 23.8 million, and this is to fund their 108 Canadian dollar million capacity expansion. And this is for upgrading the company's Montreal facility and to increase its capacity up to 100%. Well, the stock saw around 6 sessions of losses, and it gained the most in the last 6 months. Trading volume was also 50 times the average of 20-day average. So, well, on the back of this news flow, Jubilant Pharmova is in focus today.
All right, moving on, Vaishali, Persistent, and if you look at this one, has been gaining a stellar set of gains actually coming in over the last 6 months alone. Do you think that this will be able to keep that elevated levels for the stock going ahead, or do you see some sort of a consolidation kicking in, given the fact how the sentiment is with regards to banking and the IT sector right now?
Of course, I mean, stocks are not going to witness a runaway rally, but the levels are quite attractive because overall in the whole of IT sector, this is one of the stocks which is outperforming, and the long-term trend also is intact. And also, I would say, keeping in mind 4,400 as support levels, one must buy this stock because that will get into a new round of momentum and next upward target of 5,000 and so on.
Keep an eye out on persistence. Moving on, we do have IDBI Bank that is in focus, and Deepam Secretary actually tweeted as he clarified that the IDBI divestment process is on track, and the news report claiming that the process has been deferred are misleading and speculative. Now, also in the tweet, he furthermore says that the process is in the post-EOI stage and following the recipients of multiple expression of interest that they've received. Just quoting his tweet, he says the report appearing in a section of the media indicating possibility deferment of IDBI Bank is baseless and speculative and misleading, and the transaction continues to be on track as per the defined process in the post-EOI phase. The stage as well as a multiple expression of interest is what they have received. The government as of now holds around 45% stake in the company. Keeping an eye out on that divestment process in track, and post that tweet that we saw coming in, the share has spiked and it's up 3.5%.
All right, moving on, let's talk about Nalco then. And Vaishali, this one was, if you look at the levels of Nalco at one point in time, it was above the 100 rupee mark. It was seeing a good run up as well, but then it did see a correction, and Nalco has actually fallen with the rest of the metal pack. Where do you see Nalco headed from here on? Do you see a good recovery coming in this one, and people can actually recover their losses?
I would think so, because even talking about last few days, I mean, Nalco has hardly reacted to all the market brutality that we've been seeing. It has been consistent. So in today's high volume and bullish candle formation, a cross of 85 levels, a decisive cross of 85, 86, gives us the range of 88 to 90 in days to come. So the view would be bullish on this.
All right, moving on, let's talk about VA Vabag. VA Tech Vabag, sorry. That's the counter that is in focus in today's trading session. If you look at the stock, it saw an uptick of as much as 5%, which marks this is the sharpest intraday percentage gain since March 6th for the company. Why is the stock in focus? Is because they said that they forayed into Bangladesh with a World Bank and Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank funded order of around 800 crore rupees. On the back of that, the stock is seeing a good up move. Also, remember, the stock is gaining for a second consecutive trading day.
Okay, keeping an eye out on the Tech Vabag. But on that note, viewers, we're going to step into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more stocks after this break. Welcome back, and you're watching Market Fatafat on ET. Now let's keep it going with all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. And on the technicals, Vaishali have picked out on NCC. Now this one has seen a stellar move when you look at it in terms of returns in the last 1 year, 6 months, and the green has still continued on the screen for NCC. Is there more upside left, or now is it a time for correction in this one?
No, in fact, of course, a little bit of profit booking cannot be ruled out because the stock has moved right from 90 levels. But I'm seeing that it has given a breakout even on the weekly chart. So I would say that one should definitely buy now and also in decline for a target of 120.
Right, that's the take coming in on NCC. Harsh, coming to you, Z Entertainment. This one also is in news today, but the stock was actually under pressure.
Well, yes, couple of reasons why, Cheryl, and one of them is, good news coming on the front of the IPRS, which is the Indian Performing Rights Society, which has now withdrawn its insolvency petition against Z Entertainment on the back of that settlement agreement that they've entered into. So that's the one positive. But on the other side, there was news yesterday, chatter yesterday, with regard to Z looking to repay around $10 million to IndusInd Bank for to wrap up the Sony deal. But that has come out as a clarification, or Z has come out with a clarification on that one, suggesting that they are, of course, in talks with regard to settling this particular dispute. But there is no clarity at this stage as to whether a resolution or strategy that the company is actually pursuing will finally come through or not. And on the back of that, it's reversed some of the gains that it made yesterday. It was up over 6% in trade yesterday, and it's reversed some of that. It's down around 3.5% in trade.
Let's move on and talk about Kotak Mahindra Bank. Vaishali, this had underperformed compared to the other banking spaces for a while. Now, how are the charts looking like?
So technically, I think it's done its round of corrective move, keeping in mind that the market is holding on to these support levels. So in sync with that, 1830 is a good support level for one to buy. And I think it is among all the banking stocks today, it seems to be showing a lot of strength. So I would have a good trading strategy for this and to look for a target of at least 1680 to, well, right now it's already 1674. I would look at target of 1700 for now.
All right, moving on, Lisa, we all know why TCS is in focus, but why is Infosys in focus in today's trading session? Because that stock was among the top gainers also, right, today?
Yes, the reason being that its subsidiary Infosys Finacle, they have implemented a liquidity management solution for a major bank, ABN AMRO's corporate customers, and it's quite significant because the bank will be able to provide its customers with single point of access to manage its global cash flows. And well, the stock saw an up move after 7 sessions of losses. Against this, even Morgan Stanley, they came up with a report on IT saying that the macro environment it's quite unstable, and that is clouding the near-term outlook for the IT industry. And they expect stock volatility in the near term, and this is amidst the caution on FY24 outlook. And their order of preference for the stocks remains LTI Mindtree, Infosys, and HCL Tech. Well, on the back of this, Infosys is in focus today.
Okay, let's move on and talk about L&T on the charts. Vaishali, how is this one looking like, and what are the levels that we should keep an eye out on?
So Larsen actually has been an outperformer, and in spite of the market, it is showing strength. Today also we saw good volume pickup and good movement in the chart. So I think 2150 should be the near-term support level, and trading strategy would be, we should be looking at a target of 20 to 30.
Okay, let's move on and talk about the next one, and that is Glenmark Life that is in focus. And this one is in focus because the board of the directors of Glenmark Life Science has announced an interim dividend for the financial year 2022-2023. Now they've declared a dividend of 21 rupees per share eligible for its shareholders, and the company has fixed the record date for that as around 24th of March 2023 as the date of finalizing the eligible shareholders for the payment of this interim dividend. So on the back of this, we've seen Glenmark Life buzzing in trade. 21 rupees interim dividend is what they have declared.
All right, so that's Glenmark Life for you, but let's shift focus. Let's talk about Voltas. And why is Voltas in focus is because Universal MEP Projects and Engineering Services, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Voltas, has bagged a project order worth about 1,770 crore rupees. This is for power distribution and solar project. So on back of that, you have Voltas that is in focus. However, the stock right now is subdued in trading session, is trading with mild gains of about 0.4% as we speak.
Okay, let's move on and pull up the charts for Mahanagar Gas, because Vaishali will be telling us what should we be watching out for in terms of the levels for Mahanagar Gas. Slight bit of a not an exciting move actually in the last week for Mahanagar Gas. What should we see now?
So wait for an up move coming about 1006, because once we see a decisive move, because the stock has been holding on very well, it's right now in a consolidation mode. So 960 should be the near-term support, but the clarity comes about 1006 levels, and that would give us a trigger for further upside target of 1030, 1050.
All right, moving on, let's talk about Jubilant Ingravia then. Harsh, we know why Jubilant Pharmova was in focus, but why is this one in focus?
Well, yes, it's acquired an associate or a larger stake in an associate company called Mr. Veg Foods Private Limited. Now, to try to dig in slightly deeper, Mr. Veg Foods is one of the early entrants in India's plant-based meat market and manufactures plant-based meat products. The company has made an investment in MVPL even in February of 2021, and this further investment is towards potential synergies that both companies will enjoy. And of course, with regard to the nutrition business of Jubilant Ingravia, so it will aid that particular business of Jubilant Ingravia as well. And when I'm looking, largely at the turnover. It's a very small turnover at the moment, around 67 lakhs. But it seems to be a meaningful acquisition, and on the back of that, the stock is up 4%.
Okay, let's move on and talk about everyone's favorite on the last year for sure was ITC. Vaishali, this will still continue to be a favorite in 2023 as well?
Well, yes, long term, yes, but I think on the near term, I think we are seeing some profit booking. So today also it has been witnessing good profit booking. But now what we need to see, because today's candle formation, we said that if 370 levels break on closing, we would see a further downslide going towards 350 levels. So this is a stock which one should check for profit booking.
All right, that is ITC for you. Definitely under pressure in today's trading session. But moving on, Lisa, Varun Beverages. Why is this one in focus?
Yes, like we know yesterday, Varun Beverages saw a fall, and that was on concerns of pricing war. So against this backdrop, Jefferies and CLSA, they came out with a report on Varun Beverages saying that the channel checks indicate that the price cut, it was taken prior to the introduction of Campa, and it is not a reaction to the launch of Campa Cola. And Reliance will take time to scale up, and they do not believe that it will be a medium threat to the company. And the impact on Varun Beverages, that will be minimal as of now, and they expect the promotional intensity to pick up before the summer season. And however, the launch of Campa Cola will be a key thing to watch out for. So on the back of this news flow, Varun Beverages is in focus today.
Okay, that is Varun Beverages. But moving on, let's talk about one more FMCG company that you picked out, and that is Nestle. Vaishali, how are you looking at the charts for this one? A better move, and now actually this will see a better up move than ITC this time.
Looks like, because well, it has corrected right from 20,000 and now we are seeing 18,000 levels. So excuse me, 18,000 is a good support, and from here on we are already seeing 2 days in succession that it has been moving well. So I would say 18,000 should be the support to accumulate for longer term returns.
Okay, keeping an eye out on those levels for Nestle. Let's move on and talk about Mirza International. Now, what the company has done is actually they've set the record date at 29th of March for the scheme of arrangement. And this scheme of arrangement was Mirza International had actually received the NCLT approval for this somewhere around in Feb, and it was between RTS Fashions and Mirza International, and they will be forming a new entity, a branded business for them that is going to be into which will be Red Tape Limited. Now, the ratio on which the shares will be allotted for this new company for Mirza International shareholders will be in the ratio of 1:1. So keeping an eye out on that. The record date for that is 29th of March, and one of the reasons why we're seeing that the stock is in a bust.
All right, that's Mirza International for you, soaring in trade today. But on that note, we'll actually slip into a break in this edition of Market Fatafa. Stay tuned, more on the other side. Don't go anywhere.